more on Ascension. It is wonderful to connect with you, our dear ones, on this beautiful day that God hath made. Our connection to you becomes stronger and stronger each day as your love vibration increases and your relationship with your higher self, with your spirit, becomes closer. All your days are holy now. You feel the energies coming in. They refresh you. They empower you. They give you strength in your knowingness of your holy selves. What would have annoyed you, triggered a negative response, upset your equilibrium in the past, hardly disturbs you now. You are in this world indeed, in human form, but you are hardly of this world any more. In your third dimensional entrainment, you could not see the forest for the trees. You wallowed in the details of life. You concentrated on the negatives. Your ego was paramount. Now you see the whole forest and the individual trees, the negative details of daily happenings, but they no longer disturb you, for love has permeated your being. Love is your guide, your leader. We will talk today more about ascension, for your whole purpose and concentration now is to ascend out of fear to the fifth dimension of love. For you are in the midst of the great awakening, of the great revelation of the truth of the planet Earth journey. The great truth is that you are souls in human bodies, here to experience pain and fear, so that you will know greater love. You will be love. You will radiate love, for you have removed all that is not love from your thinking mind. Your thoughts in this wondrous new age revolve around divinity. You see your fellow humans as divine beings on the path to enlightenment, on the path to ascension, returning to love. You see the divinity within all, and therefore you forgive all. You see the quirks in the behavior of your brethren. You see how the ego expresses itself through them. You see how they are caught subconsciously, unknowingly, in their negative entrainment, in a fear-filled world. Their thoughts, their ideas about life, their reactions to what goes on around them, are not even their own. You see how they behave according to the indoctrination, the teachings of their cultural morality. You see how they have been taught to hate those that are different from them. You see how they have been taught to fear. You see how strong the influence of earthly information sources is upon them. Walking on the street in this time of the great pandemic of 2020, you can tell who watches television and who does not. Who is wearing a mask? Those who walk alone, without a companion, far from any potential virus, and yet still wear a mask, those are the ones who watch television. They are the ones who live in deep fear. They are the ones who listen to the words of the fake news. They are the ones that are driven by anxiety. What do they need to ascend? We have alluded to this before. They must realize they are divine. They must realize that they are souls, immortal, everlasting souls, ensconced in human hearts, in human bodies, on this journey on planet Earth, in bodies. Divinity cannot be claimed until it is realized that it exists. Until humanity realizes the holy nature of his beingness, he cannot claim it as his own. Instead, he will continue to behave as a poor, lonely, abandoned, wretched, finite individual doomed to die in poverty, abjection, and hatred. When mankind realizes that he is divine, his behavior changes, for there now becomes a deeper reason for life. Living the expression of love takes on a whole new meaning when we know that we are immortal. We will someday lay our body aside. We will lay our ego aside, for in the knowing of our divinity, we will no longer need it. We will realize that this is part of the great deception perception. The ego is not who and what we are. The ego is a cloak of negativity derived from the words and ideas of the family and society we are born into. The ego is the entrainment into fear and separation that we came here to experience. The ego would have us think that we only have this one lifetime, that we are alone, all around us are against us, and we must defend ourselves. The opposite is true. In our defenselessness, our safety lies. When we drop the negatively conditioned responses we learn in our childhood indoctrination, when we see the nature of the inculcated negative sayings we have learned as our automatic response to our brethren, as we return to love and discover our divinity, as we concentrate on love, the voice of our ego weakens, atrophies, and eventually drops away. What else do our third-dimensional fear-filled brethren need to learn? They need to see the effect that every word that comes to their thoughts or that is spoken by them, every word, every phrase, has an effect on their own psyche and on their brethren. Humanity does not realize that words are the control mechanism of the third-dimensional world. We think with words, we speak with words. Words contain magic spells. This is where the word spelling comes from. Words cast a spell on people. As we speak with words, according to the nature of our utterances, we put the spell of love or fear on ourselves and those who hear us. As we speak loving, kind, compassionate, encouraging words, we and our brethren are uplifted. As we criticize, denigrate them, laugh at what we see to be their foolishness, for they do not behave as we would have them behave, we and our brethren then fall further into the dark and devious spell of the third-dimensional fear entrainment. Every word that comes out of the child of God is creative. Negative, cutting words, by universal law, create negative, fearful outcomes. Loving, kind, benevolent words create loving, kind, and benevolent outcomes and lift both the giver and the receiver to greater heights of love and light. Loving words and a loving attitude create warmth, communion, and camaraderie between human brethren. They end divisiveness and separation. They uplift both the giver and receiver. And then, last but not least, as you have seen the truth of your human history, as you have seen the nature of the great deception that you have lived under, so must your brethren. History is written by the shadow government, by the controllers, by the corrupt ones, by those who play the dark in this great Shakespearean tragedy-comedy play that constitutes the planet Earth experience. It is written by those who have an agenda to control and manipulate mankind. Their sole desire is for service to self, power over others. So they have rewritten history to serve their purposes. They have rewritten the great religious teachings, taken out truths and added falsehoods. They have not taught the truth of prison planet Earth's history. They have hidden the cruel control they have wielded over mankind. They have left out the dark deeds and wicked manipulations they have used and blamed all occurrences on mankind. They have not told the story of how their agenda truly works. Whereas we, the ascending ones, thrive on love, they thrive on our fear. They are energized by our despair, our low-frequency emotions, our pain, and our hatred. So, of course, since these devastating and fear-filled feelings energize them, these are the feelings that their agenda is set up to generate within us. Thus, we have had slavery and human trafficking for eons. We have had wars and battles, torture and concentration camps. We have had the shadow government, the controllers, who are not human, setting up the agenda of human history. History is told by the winners, and hitherto they have been the winners. But now, in this time of ascension, in this time of revelation, the truth of our fear entrainment, of the negative manipulation of our controllers, must be seen. For we cannot remove something we cannot see. We cannot remove the corrupt ones from power until we see their corruption, until we see who is corrupt. And take heart, our very dear ones, for this is why we have such chaos now. The truth of the great deception of the shadow government, the great delusion we have lived under, is coming to the fore. As we see the corruption, the lies, the manipulation, we can remove it. Until we see it, until we see who the perpetrators, the corrupt ones are, we can do nothing. And the glory of it is that this is all in process now. Yes, the freeing of planet Earth from its third-dimensional indoctrination is taking place at a rapid pace as we speak. Humanity is awakening. Humanity is moving out of the imbroglio of desperation and despair and returning to the love that is its wonderful, natural, and inevitable inheritance. That was Aita, channeling her higher self. We are blessed beings, indeed.